Wrap me in a bolt of lightning, send me on my way still smiling. Maybe that's the way I should go, straight into the mouth of the unknown. I left the spare key on the table, I never really thought I'd be able to say I merely visit on the weekends. I lost my whole life and a dear friend. I've said it so many times.
This thing went down to the wire?
Probably not, man. I mean, we've been in that situation with them since I've been in the league, having some of those battles that go down to the end. So I don't see them being that way, but neither will we. So it's going to be about which team can finish the best. And obviously we're going to try to put as many points on the board as possible, so we don't even end up in that predicament. But if that's the type of game it'll end up being, then my money's on us to finish it.
You won some really good playoff game the first time you stepped on the field in the playoffs. What do you remember about that week, just in terms of leading up to it and how you handled it?
Well, it seemed it's kind of far removed now. It's hard to remember exactly how I felt going into that week, but it was, I wasn't quite aware of, how intense it was going to be. So that's one of the main things I made sure I pointed out to the young guys this week, is letting them know that it's going to be a little bit more intense than what they've seen in the past from these past games and even preseason. I kind of compared it to the preseason to regular season jump, but just times 100 really. But at the same time, kind of letting them know it's still the same. It's the same game you've been playing. It's not going to change for you as long as you've been having that type of urgency and attention to detail. I think everybody will be fine.
How does that intensity show itself?
In attitude, swagger on the field, just being aware. Really, the awareness is the biggest thing. It's not even about doing anything different, because we don't need any heroics out of anybody, but we just need everybody to be fully aware of what's at stake, understanding to take every play serious and make sure, we're trying to put points on the board every time we get the ball. That's the mentality. So as long as everybody's aware of that, I think that it becomes a little bit easier to achieve.
Matt's first year has been ridiculous in terms of the success he's had as a first-year head coach and where this team is. I know there's probably a lot of qualities, but for you, what's the one that sticks out as to why he's been successful so quickly?
Just his attention to detail. Like I said before, I think that sometimes it's a pain in all of our butts. When we're watching film, sometimes it's a little nitpicky. And, I'm not afraid to say that. It's definitely reflected great in the way we play. I think about it when I take the field. Sometimes they point something out that I may have not thought was a big deal before, but then get out there, and then next time I'm watching film, the next time I get on the field, and I revert back to how he felt about whatever I did, and then so it's just making me better. He got on me a couple times this year about fighting for extra yards, and then the next game against the Vikings, I actually tightrope the sideline. So and he was on me because I was mad about it, but situations like that where he has the ability to get the best out of you. So we definitely appreciate that.
Did he bring it up right after that again?
No, I brought it up actually. Yeah,
okay.
I said something to him. I said, I guess what you said worked.
When it comes to Alan Lazard, a lot of people mention his work ethic, but what have you seen from him as far as just growth this season?
Well, the work ethic is the number one thing that I see. He obviously has the determination and, has what it takes within, because that's where it starts. But it hasn't been too many people since I've been in the league that I've seen legitimately get better at football over the course of, from when he got here at the end of that last season up until this point. His growth in route running, the questions that he asked me about releases and different things that wasn't even necessarily a part of his game to start it. I think that he's starting to open that up, and he's not necessarily a 4-3 guy, but he still has the ability to get open, and the more he gets mechanical and surgical with the way, as we like to call it as wideouts, he'll continue to make plays.
What do you see as the strength of this Seattle defense?
I think their simplicity is what makes it, it's kind of like the Chargers. I think they do a lot of the same things, and they stick to what they do, and they've been that same way, since I've been in the league. So when you do the same thing over and over, it makes you vulnerable to certain things, but it also allows you to realize what your vulnerable areas are, and I feel like they do a good job at covering those. So obviously it's pretty clear to what we got to do to attack that and expose what they do, but like I said, they do a good job at countering that too.
Davante, there was a little bit of a flu bug. Any concern about the health of this team going into this game, and what are you guys doing to avoid,
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all. That's what I tell everybody. Those are two things you got to make sure you keep those clean. We'll be all right.
I feel like
That's good
infant
advice.
dad just like
Yeah.
came through there a little bit.
Maybe that was for
Like a
babies.
little
Maybe
diaper
that's
change,
babies.
yeah.
But same thing. So it'll work for adults too.
I know you guys have touched on it this season, but how much pride do you guys as wide receivers have up front blocking for Aaron and Jamal when they're
I mean, we take a lot of pride in it, and you know, there's certain plays like Quez's block that sprung 33 and against the Vikings, situations like that where you block it and blocking, you think that it's not going to make a difference until it does. So being in a situation like that, and then obviously the offensive line coach and the rest of the coaches really praise those moments more so than catching touchdowns. So it makes us feel good, and obviously when we can go and do something as simple as digging out of safety and then spring one of our running backs for a long run, obviously putting points on the board is the main thing, so that we get the gratification, feeling good about doing it, and the points on the board as well.
You guys have had some. I mean, the field notoriously the last couple of years has been slick here at Lambeau.
Yeah.
So, I mean, knowing that that's the case, and then getting out there in elements, is there an excuse if a guy's got the wrong footwear on? How important is it that you guys get that squared away in pregame?
Well, I mean, there's definitely different things you can do. I think whatever footwork works best for you is, you obviously do that. I wear molded cleats, and that's just the way I wear my cleats, period, unless we have a lot of snow. But, some guys do better with the 7 studs, so whatever works for you. You can still slip either way. Obviously, you can't really fully control it, but whatever you practice in, that's obviously what you got to go with.
You guys feel like you really have to take your game to the next level, kick it up a notch here, or do you think you can get by doing some of the same things you're doing to get to 13-3?
Interesting question, but I think that the mindset's always to continue to develop and get better, so that's where we're at.